Welcome to the ACSA Campus Tour, where on Tuesdays we take you up and down the state to talk with a district administrator about the successes and challenges in their school community as they work through this COVID-19 pandemic. Joining us today is the superintendent from Sundale Union Elementary School District and longtime ACSA member, Terri Rufert. Terri, thanks so much for being with us today.
My pleasure. I always enjoy talking with you.
When you and I spoke back in April, as schools were moving into the distance learning environment, your district was one of those first that was able to launch right into the distance learning. And you said one of the biggest successes was how excited the kids were to be on the technology platforms and connect or reconnect really with their teachers and with their fellow students. Let's fast forward to now, because you are still in this distance learning realm. Successes and challenges, and then as far as those challenges that you and your staff have experienced, are they the challenges you expected?
Great question. Yeah, it is a little bit different than when we first started. One of the successes I would say coming forward into this year is the fact that we did jump into it fully in March. By Easter, that would be the holiday. By Easter time, everybody had a Chromebook, everybody had connectivity, so we were able to connect everybody with their teachers, and as soon as they could see their teachers and their classmates, they were absolutely thrilled to death. So the positive about jumping in is that our parents and the teachers and the kids were already ready with the different platforms that we had been using. So that was not a challenge that we had to face starting this school year. One challenge in that area, though, is instead of having so many different platforms, we limited them. So everybody's using Google Classroom, Flipgrid, and Zoom. Our primary had not used Google Classroom before, so that we had to get them trained on that. So that is something that we had anticipated and we had planned for. One of the challenges, probably the biggest challenge to this day, and the thing that I'm probably still the most worried about, is keeping parents and kids motivated on this distance learning, because in my county, we're still in the purple, and I'm still waiting for my waiver to come back to bring some kids back. But even with that, I'll still have kids that'll be distance learning. And so keeping the motivation up to keep connecting with the Zooms, doing the work, and then the burnout from teachers. My teachers are amazing, absolutely amazing. They're going way above and beyond. They can't keep this pace up. Both parents and kids and teachers are going to burn out. And the other thing is, as much as it's funny, we were so excited that when we got everybody on the computers and they could all see each other, how excited they were. Now they just want to be in person. So we had a drive-up picture day where 2 kids got out, took the picture, everybody went back in, we cleaned. And just that alone, they were absolutely thrilled to death. And then I have a couple cohorts on campus. They're just glad to see people. And then on Fridays when they pick up their packets or drop off their work, the excitement of people seeing each other is just like it was when we were distance learning in the very beginning and they got to be on the computer. That excitement is no longer an excitement. I think people are tired of Zooms. They still rather do that than not see teachers, but I anticipated the teachers being tired. I had not anticipated the burnout so quickly, and the lack of motivation.
When we talked in April, you said one of your biggest concerns was the discrepancy in technology as far as your teachers were concerned, because some used a lot of technology and others did not necessarily. How were you able to close the gap to be able to make technology comfortable for your teachers and your staff? And where are you at right now as far as how you feel about that strategy went?
Yeah. So when we decided that what we were going to do for this coming up year, when we realized that this wasn't going away and that we were going to be here this year, what we decided to do is to start offering trainings during the summer. They were some that we paid, so they were mandatory, and some that were not. And then I have a couple teacher leaders that are phenomenal on technology, and they actually did Screencastify, which I did not know what that was until this year. But they did a couple lessons on that and put it up both for parents and teachers. So it's like having a classroom. So you kind of group your teachers. And so we had a group of teachers that in primary that did not know how to use Google Classroom. So we had a training just for them. And then those that still struggled, some of my other teachers were willing to do some one-on-one with them. So I was really blessed in that area. And then our county has a really great resource and a consultant in that area, and she offered a lot of different trainings for them as well. So some of it was on their own, some of it was what we paid and offered here, and then it's an ongoing training. So there are things like breaking into groups and on the Zoom that people hadn't used before, or things that you can do in Google that I'm still learning about doing that the teachers didn't know. And then there's Flipgrid. And so it's everything from a group to small group to individual. And I think I can do that because I have a smaller staff, and it was really dependent on the teacher leaders and the teacher experts. Depending on your own teacher experts, not only bonds your staff more, they really listen because they're in the classroom, right? So I've always said it's different from me teaching versus a teacher that's in the classroom teaching. Because they're there and they're doing it. And so here's the new challenge for me. So we're doing esports, and we are doing Rocket League, which I had no idea what that is. I've never been a gamer. So now I am learning to be a gamer, and I am so out of my realm and so out of my league, but the kids are having a blast teaching me. And that's the other thing that we did too. We told the teachers to be comfortable that if they're doing something and they don't know, to ask their kids. And the teachers that are comfortable asking their kids have been much more successful at doing it because the kids know so much more than we do. And then learning along the way what we don't know. Where we are right now, I would say as a district, overall, we're probably about a B if I had to grade us. I think the teachers that I thought would struggle more have really come up and really done that. They really want to connect with their kids, and having to connect every day versus last year we just did 2 days makes them that they have to do it. Otherwise it's a lot more work. So I think we still don't know everything about Google Classroom. We're still finding some issues with Zoom that come up, and we hadn't done it before, but between my techs and my teacher leaders we've been able to figure it out. So that's been really nice.
Terri, ACSA Leadership Summit kicked off yesterday. You're a member of the committee. 50 pre-recorded workshops began yesterday. That's leading up to the live sessions on Thursday and Friday. I want to ask you, from your position as the committee member, through your distance learning experience and this being an all virtual event, how did that distance learning experience that you have had since April helped get you into the realm of thinking of how we best supply this type of professional development to those who register for this event?
Yeah, great question. That was a concern for me and for all the committee members, as well as the ACSA staff that was involved, is basically people are zoomed out somewhat. So how do we make it so that people want to attend, and then we can keep them attending once they've signed up? We wanted it to be a worthwhile event, not just that you're watching a bunch of pre-recorded, that we did do pre-recorded so you could do it on your own time, but that you actually felt like you were there. We wanted to be able to have events and keynote speakers and different interactions that you actually felt like you were there. Because one of the big things about any of ACSA's events getting together is the networking. That is just a huge part besides the information and the inspiration you get. So the information and the inspiration, we figured we could do that fairly easily, but it was how to get the different administrators across California to be able to network. So that was a focus that we talked about. The other thing is talking about things that have really been brought to light during this, is some of the equity issues that have come up through this whole distance learning. So we wanted to make sure that we address those too. And we wanted to make sure that whatever we addressed was something that staff either felt inspired, or leaders either felt inspired by, or they could take back immediately back to their staff and use some great ideas. And then just to be able to network and talk. We're no different than kids. We want to see each other. We want to talk and be able to share ideas. So we think we have put all that together. Danelle Buckley has done an amazing job leading all of us, and then all of you at ACSA, just being able to do these kind of interviews and all the updates, how you guys have really been nimble and really come through to be able to put something like this together is absolutely amazing. So I hope people go away thinking it was well worth their time.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. People are zoomed out. And for those of you who are still thinking about registering, this is the kind of broadcast you will see. It's not your typical Zoom meeting. Terri Rufert, Superintendent, Sundale Union Elementary School District. Terri, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
And folks, go ahead and register right now, ACSA.org/leadership summit. One of our keynote speakers is the incredible Elizabeth Smart, and she has this message for all of our registrants and those of you who may continue to want to register.
Hello, ACSA family. I am Elizabeth Smart, and I will be speaking on November 5th at 3 o'clock. I know that what each of you do truly makes a difference, and so I want to thank you, and I really hope that you will join and listen to me and joining the Q&A afterwards. See you soon.
Registration open right now, ACSA.org/leadership summit. Your opportunity to get your professional development, to hear from these keynote speakers, and the opportunity to talk with the keynote speakers. Q&As immediately after those keynote speeches, including Elizabeth Smart. That comes your way Thursday and Friday, but Summit is going on right now, so make sure you register, ACSA.org/leadership summit. Thank you so much for joining us today. Every Tuesday, we take you up and down the state to talk with a school administrator. That comes on the ACSA Campus Tour.